Hey everyone, welcome to Home is Where the Heart is. I'm Allie, your host and fellow military kid. I'm building this community as part of my Girl Scout Gold Door project to make sure no military kid has to navigate this life alone. My goal is to create a lasting space for us to find our footing no matter where the map takes us next. This is the spot where we can connect and share advice about all the highs, lows, and messy in betweens of life on the move. And if you're not a military kid, you're still welcome. Gain some empathy and learn something new. So, if you've ever packed your life into a box, survived your first day at a new school, or wondered what it's like to do those things, you're in the right place. Because here, home isn't just a place, it's where your heart is. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to get involved at a new school. In my opinion, this is a very fine art, and I believe there are some tips and advice that I can give you from my personal experience that will help you start a new school and get involved as efficiently and quickly as possible. So, if you don't know, I am a rising senior, and it will be my fourth high school in 4 years and my 10th school across my 13 years of education. So, if there's someone who's qualified to give advice on how to get involved in a new school, it's me. You're in the right place. So, getting involved matters a lot after a move because it is so hard to move. If you've never moved, it is hard. And if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about because it is emotionally hard to leave all your friends and go to a new place. And you're like, wait, I actually don't know a single person here. And then it's also hard to just learn a new place and unpack a house and turn that house into a home. It's very mentally exhausting and it requires a lot of strength. So, that is why when you start a new school, one of the things you can do to make your life better after a move is get involved. And this doesn't mean that you should join every club because depending on your school, there could be like 50 clubs. I know the school I'm going to in the fall that I haven't started yet, wish me luck, has a lot of clubs. So, me saying you should get involved doesn't mean that you have to join every club. I just mean that you need to look for all the opportunities. And I'm going to give you some tips on finding those opportunities. Okay, so for the order of the episode, it's going to be before school starts, during the first week, getting involved, a little bit on making friends, mindset, and then specifically for military kids, common mistakes, practical tips, and wrap up. Okay, so first, before school starts, research clubs, sports, and organizations. This is huge. A lot of the time, sports stuff happens in the spring and summer before the school year starts. So, under the Military Interstate Children's Compact Commission, or the MIC3, that says that if you're a military kid, they have to let you try out for the sport. So, even if tryouts already happened, you can still try out for the sport. And if they say you can't try out for the sport, contact your local state compact commissioner, which you can find with a quick Google search. And they don't have to let you on the team, but they have to let you try out. So you at least have a tryout going for you. So anyway, research all of that as soon as possible because you don't want to miss anything. And then research clubs. Most of the time, a ton of clubs don't do work all summer long. Like, I can't really think of any. I'm sure some do, so the sooner the better. If you can reach out to club advisors and just tell them you're interested and if there's anything you can do to help, things like that, membership, like any of that, do that. Follow your school social media accounts or get your parents to follow them. A lot of information goes out on social media nowadays, especially on Facebook. So definitely be on Facebook looking for stuff because stuff will come out. Instagram, a lot of schools are starting to use, but I think Facebook is like the big one where information comes out. So find those Facebook groups. Don't miss the information. Every school has a website, and on those websites, there should be a list of clubs so you can look at that roster, find out what you're interested in, get excited. Attend orientation or freshman new student events. Even if you don't want to, you should. Because it really can't hurt, especially if you're a freshman. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't if you're a freshman. If you're not a freshman and it's like freshman and new student, or like, I feel you because you're like, I'm not a freshman, I don't want to go. But it can't hurt. And chances are it's probably upperclassmen doing those tours, and then you can make friends. You feel? So attend orientations because they talk about clubs and how the school works and information you probably wouldn't know if you didn't go. So you should go. Try at least one new activity. Okay, my advice, just in general, I think freshman year you should try like a ton. Like, I saw like 4 to 6, like a ton of clubs, and then by sophomore, junior, senior year, narrow that list down and like step up to lead in those clubs. So like freshman year member, sophomore year officer, junior year vice president, senior year president, like that kind of progression, especially if you're interested in higher education. Colleges love that kind of leadership in clubs because being a member is not as good and it doesn't show as much leadership as leading the club. Or you could found a new club if that's something you're interested in. If they don't have that club that you want at your school, you could also do that. Yeah, so freshman year, try new things, and then as the years go on, narrow that down and step up in the clubs that you're in. And also find clubs that relate to your potential plans after high school. For example, if you want to be an engineer, join an engineering club or an architecture club or some other STEM type of thing that could aid you in that. Okay, during the first week, say yes to things. Don't be like, "Oh, I don't wanna go to this." Like, if your friend's like, "Hey, you should go to this club meeting," you should go to just go. Like, it literally can't hurt you at all. Just go to the club meeting, try it out, and if you hate it, you don't have to go again. But just say yes that whole first week to new opportunities. Introduce yourself first. This is huge for getting involved in anything. If people, like, see this new kid and you just sit there and you wait for someone to, like, ask you like, "Girl, just introduce yourself first, and then that'll be great." Sit with different people instead of hiding in the back. This goes for classes, obviously. Don't I know it's easier to just sit in the back and be shy, but try to branch out a little bit because it literally can't hurt. Like I said, that first week, if your first impression is, "Oh, I'm gonna go," like, you're just that kid who sat in the back and, like, didn't introduce themselves. Not a great first look, not how you're gonna make friends. You're just gonna be sad and lonely. But yeah, talk to people. Don't hide in the back. Try not to hide in the back, I should say. So when you're conversing with these people that you're throwing yourself out there, just ask questions because people love to talk about themselves. Honestly, if you're shy about, like, anything about you, doesn't even matter because you're the one asking questions, it'll be so easy. They'll just yap about themselves for, like, a whole 3 minutes, and they'll be like, "This was so fun, it was so nice to meet you," and they'll be like, "Wow, I feel so good." Because people don't remember what you say, but how you make them feel. Some psychiatrist said that. Remember that everybody was new, whether it was freshman year? Everyone's been new, everyone's, like, sort of been in your shoes a little. There's probably other new kids, you might not be the only new kid. I know, like, as, like, crazy as that sounds, you might be the only new kid, that happens. That happened to me. My junior year, I was the only new junior, but it was fine. I made it. There's gonna people will reach out, but you shouldn't wait for them to reach out. You should put yourself out there and just ask questions. People love the app. Okay. Don't expect to find your best friends on day 1. I mean, if you do, that's great, and if you think you did, like, I love that for you, but it takes time to build friendships, and it could take months, it could take 4 months, it could take 6 months, it could take 1. You just don't know, and you shouldn't latch on to the first person that you meet that's nice to you, because then people might be like, "Oh, she's crazy. She's clingy." Um, and it's okay to, like, wanna be friends with people and wanna be best friends with people. I'm just saying, like, you're probably not gonna meet your very best friend on the first day of school. That's totally fine because you will meet your best friend. But just keep that in mind. Open mind here. Okay. Join clubs that genuinely interest you because if you're being true to yourself and finding clubs that you think are cool, there'll be other people there who also think that they're cool, and then you guys will be friends and you'll both be cool. So join things that you think you like. You don't try to cater to what anyone else expects you to do. Try something new. I already said this, but just put yourself out there. Don't shoot any ideas down. Try new things. Play a sport because sports teams are often friend groups, and you could potentially have a little family in your sports team. I've done swim, and swim was always a fun friend group. Like, it was just a really random mix of us, but we were all besties, and it was fun, and it was a great vibe, and I wouldn't have been friends with them unless I did swim, so join a sport. Even if it's just JV, like, it's okay, who cares? You know? Join student government, that's another great way to get involved. as like a representative. Usually most schools have like smaller positions, or even if you're not like on it, be like, "Hey, do you guys need help setting up for homecoming?" They're always looking for volunteers, so and those are the people who know everybody, and then you can meet new people. The arts, theater, band, choir, art, also usually a lot of people involved, helping meet new people, something to consider. Volunteering at school, because you'll meet other people who volunteer and want to do good things, and then you guys could be friends and do good things together. Academic clubs, NHS, Ollie, Science Olympiad, speech and debate, etc. Great option. In my experience, those clubs have been, but if they have it at your school, it could be great. So you should check it out. And consider leadership positions. So TBH, like, you're probably not going to get a leadership position if you just showed up in the fall, because probably they were decided. But also, they might need a leader and they might need you. So don't sell yourself short because you think they don't want you. Maybe they do. Okay? So just consider it. And especially if you're going to be there for multiple years, don't just think that it's not important, because leadership positions are also really cool and look great on resumes. Okay, tips for making friends. Be the person who starts a conversation. Like I said, ask a lot of questions. Compliment people genuinely. You can't go wrong with this unless you're complimenting them like fakely. So don't be fake. Just genuinely find something nice. Compliment them. Ask to study together. I definitely did this a lot in my last school because it was a magnet school. So basically, all we did was study. But I was like, "Hey, you wanna have a study date?" And that was fun. I met and forged friendships that way. And it's not weird because you all should study. It's more fun to study together, even if not much studying gets done. Invite someone to lunch. If you're looking for like a lunch buddy, then invite them to lunch and be like, "Actually, why don't you come sit with me and all my friends?" And then you'll be like, "Wow, now you have a bunch of friends to sit with at lunch. Yay!" So yeah, that could work. That's a plan. Remember names. Try your best to not just like I know some people are bad at names. I'm not terrible at names, but not definitely not the best. Try your best to remember names because it makes you look like a good friend. And you are a good friend. They just need time to figure that out. So remembering their name can help them figure that out. Okay, don't take it personally if not every friendship clicks, because it might not. And a lot of them will not. You'll like meet someone and be like, "Oh, like they're nice," and then you get to know them and you're like, "Actually, like this doesn't I don't really feel this one." And that's fine. Just respectfully take a step back, you know? It's fine. It's gonna happen. It's not embarrassing, it's not weird. You're not mean. They're not mean if they like take a step back and you're like, "Yeah, I guess wasn't meant to be." Totally fine. Focus on finding your people, not just fitting in with everyone. There are gonna be people who you don't mesh with, and they're probably not gonna like want to be your best friend. And there's gonna be people who are like, "These are my people. This is great." They're gonna want to be your best friend. That doesn't mean that you have to get the other people to try to also be your best friend. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need some friends who support you and love you. Like you don't need. I'm just saying, don't expect validation from everybody because not everyone's gonna give it to you, and you don't need it. So focus on finding your people. Okay, mindset. Don't compare your new school to your old one. You're gonna compare. I'm just saying you shouldn't let it take up that much space in your mind because they're different and you're also different and the people there are different and the teachers are different and the clubs are different and the state is also probably different and maybe even the country. So really you can't compare them at all. They're different. Let them have their own goods and bads, ups and downs and moments, because if you're like, "I'm my old school mom," nobody cares. Live in the moment. Don't compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. With that, every school has something unique to offer, so embrace it and don't be like, "I wish it was like this because I'm my." No, nobody cares. You literally can't go back to your old school right now. So suck it up and thrive in your new school. Okay, be patient because it takes time to feel at home, and you might not feel at home for a whole 6 months or even 8 months or even 10 months when the first school year is over. And by the time the first school year is over, you'll be like, "Okay, I'm finally settled in." That can happen. And you know what? Let it happen because everyone has their process. Okay, confidence. Confidence, in my experience, often comes after you take the action and not like before you take the action. So if you're shy and you don't want to talk to somebody, You're not gonna feel confident before you do it, but after you do it, you're gonna feel a little bit better about yourself, as you should, because props to you. Keep that in mind. Confidence is built over time after you take actions. It's okay to feel awkward because it's so awkward, especially if everybody knows each other and you're just like, "Hey, my name is Allie," and they're like, "Hi." So awkward. And you should know that it's often awkward for all of us, and you just have to get past that initial stage and find your people because sometimes it's so awkward and you're just like, "What did I just put myself in?" But just ask questions because again, people love to talk about themselves. Don't let fear stop you, so don't let that fear stop you from having fun in school, so oh, also, like, okay, for activities, give it time to settle in. Don't, like if the first meeting's terrible, like, okay, you can quit if you want, I guess, but, like, I'm just saying maybe give it more than 1 meeting, you know? Don't hate on things too fast. Oh, and you do not need to reinvent yourself unless you want to. So if you're like, "I'm gonna be a new person, change my nickname, and cut my hair short," all you but you don't have to do that. You can be the same person. You don't have to change based on your environment. But if you want to and you're like, "Hey, you know what? This is my vibe now," all you. But don't feel pressure to. Okay, specifically for military kids. Guys, hey, you're probably all military kids listening to this, but this is just my little military kids section. Your experience is the thing that makes you unique, so do not be afraid to share it because it's really cool. And some people feel shy about it. Don't feel shy about it. It's really awesome. And you're probably surrounded by people not like you unless you're in a DOEA school. Moving has probably made you more adaptable than you realize, so you can do it. You got it. I promise. You'll do great. You have learned things over these years of being a military kid, and they have taught you stuff subconsciously, and you know how to act, and you know how to start a new school, and you got it. You have all the skills too. Your experiences make good additions to clubs, especially like if you've lived in another country and you want to do Model UN, like that's so cool. So yeah, use that to your advantage. Every new school is a chance to learn something new about yourself. Everywhere you go, you're gonna get an addition to your personality and you're gonna learn something new. And that's why we go to these schools because we want to build the best version of ourselves. And every school, even if it sucks, will teach you something new about yourself and will be beneficial. Okay? So keep an eye out for that. Common mistakes: waiting for people to come to you, quitting after one awkward meeting, only hanging out with other new students. That's a big no. It's fine and it's often easy, but if you do that, it kind of separates you from everyone else and it just makes it harder to make friends later. Just in my experience. Spending every weekend at home, girl, get out. Go to homecoming, go to a football game. Don't stay in your room all week. Study dates. Put yourself out there. Assuming friend groups are closed. Sometimes they are, but not always. So don't assume they're closed before you try because they might be looking for their fifth member. Sounds like Mean Girls. Sometimes it is like Mean Girls, and sometimes the friend group is in fact closed. I would know, but that doesn't mean you should approach every person who's in a big friend group as like, I can't be friends with them because they're in a friend group, because that's absolutely not true. Comparing new friends to your old friends, please don't do this. That's like the worst thing you can do because they're different people. Everyone deserves their own little moment to shine. And also, nobody wants to hear about how you're different or really similar to your old friend. They'll just be like, "What? Okay." Right. Yeah, it's just not good vibes. Practical tips. Keep a list of club meeting dates because you don't want to look like a bum who forgot stuff. Put events on your calendar because you don't want to look like a bum who forgot stuff. Talk to teachers about opportunities. If you're like, "Hey, do you know if there's a speech and debate team here?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course. Like, actually, I'm a speech and debate coach." You just never know. So ask teachers because they know stuff and they also want to help you. And you also show initiative by asking teachers about stuff. Ask older students about stuff because they also know stuff. If you're junior or senior, ask people around you, be like, "Hey, what do you know about XYZ, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's blah blah blah," and you'll be like, "Oh, I want to join," and be like, "I'm in it. Come join in the meeting." You know? Don't overload yourself. So I know I just said like pick the number that you feel you can handle. Like rule of thumb, personally, I think you should join 4 to 7 or 4 to 6. I don't know what I said. That sounds like a lot, but a lot of clubs you don't do a ton in. It's just like monthly meetings, so it's not crazy to join that many. But obviously for your school, like don't overcommit yourself. Give yourself permission to drop stuff that's not a good fit. After giving it a shot, it's okay to drop stuff for sure. Okay, wrapping up. So, what you're gonna do, you're gonna challenge yourself to join one new random thing that you wouldn't have joined in a normal day. Attend an event and start a conversation. Definitely do those things. Please do them multiple times throughout your first week. Every close friend was once a stranger. Think about all the friendships you've had. Y'all were all strangers at one point. So now that you're surrounded by strangers, you could be surrounded by future close friends. You just never know. So you have to give them that shot. The goal is not to fit in anywhere, it's to find where you belong. Do not change yourself to fit into a friend group or something or a club or blah, blah, blah. Be yourself, find where you belong. And sometimes one yes can literally change your entire experience at that school or your entire high school experience. So you just never know. Honestly, you could be like, should I join the speech and debate team? Yes, always yes. Or should I join theater? Like, you never know what could change your entire trajectory of your high school year. So say yes to everything. And then, if it sucks after a couple meetings, not your thing, you can drop it, don't feel guilty. But honestly, it literally cannot hurt to try new things. And military kids who I've talked to on this podcast, literally, when I ask them for advice on new students, you know what they always say? They say yes and get involved. So, this is your sign. It's a new school year, it's a new school, back to school season. This is your reminder to get involved. And please take some of these tips and apply them to your life. Thank you. Thanks for listening to Home is Where the Heart Is. I'm Allie, and I hope today's episode reminded you that you are not alone. We're all in this together. If you want to share your story, email me at thatmilteen@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at thatmilteen to stay up to date in our community. If you're listening on Spotify, please rate the podcast, and if you're watching on YouTube, interacting with this video helps us reach more kids like you. Remember, home isn't just a place, it's where your heart is. See you next time!